Have you ever wondered why, even though you eat well, stay active, and follow the right advice, your legs still feel weaker with every passing month? Have you noticed that climbing stairs feels steeper? That getting out of a chair takes just a little longer than it used to? That something as simple as standing still makes your legs feel heavier? Is this just aging? Or is something else quietly sabotaging you? Because the truth is, it's not always about what you're not doing. Sometimes, it's about what you are doing, without even realizing the hidden damage you're causing. There's one quiet mistake that most seniors make every single day, with total confidence. A mistake that feels healthy. A mistake that you've been told all your life is good for you. And that mistake is certain fruits. Fruits that should heal and nourish you, but at this stage of life can secretly weaken your legs, inflame your joints, steal your balance, and rob you of your independence. Today, I'm going to reveal the 8 fruits that could be slowly draining your strength, and show you which fruits you should embrace instead, the ones that protect your legs and help you move freely again. And stick with me until the end, because knowing the right foods could be the difference between walking confidently into your future or watching it slip away. Before we dive in, I'd love to know, where are you joining me from today? Drop your country or city below. I would love to hear from you, because no matter where you are in the world, if you value your independence, you are in the right place. And if you believe that health after 60 is possible, not just a dream, go ahead and subscribe to this channel now, so you never miss a tip that could protect your future. Now, let's begin with a fruit that's been sitting quietly on your counter for years, trusted and beloved, but potentially dangerous after 60. Let's talk about bananas. Banana, the sweet deceiver that can quietly drain your strength. Soft, comforting, familiar. Bananas have been praised for decades as the perfect snack. Rich in potassium, easy to digest, energy boosting. And yes, bananas do provide potassium and magnesium, 2 nutrients your muscles need to function. But here's the trap nobody talks about. One medium banana contains around 14 grams of sugar, more sugar than a handful of candy. When you're young, your metabolism handles it easily, but after 60, everything changes. Your insulin response slows. Your blood vessels become more fragile. Your circulation struggles under sudden sugar spikes. And bananas, eaten alone, especially as a daily habit, cause a rapid surge in blood sugar. That surge damages the delicate capillaries that feed your legs, ankles, and muscles. Little by little, silently, you lose oxygen delivery. You lose strength. Have you ever felt that deep, dragging ache in your calves after a short walk? Or a heavy stiffness in your knees after standing up from a chair? You might have blamed it on getting older. But what if it's the daily banana, quietly chipping away at your mobility? Imagine your legs feeling lighter again. Imagine climbing stairs without catching your breath. Imagine standing strong, because you made one simple change. Now, should you avoid bananas forever? Not necessarily, but you should handle them wisely. To slow sugar absorption, never eat bananas on an empty stomach. Choose half a small banana instead of a full one. Or better yet, swap to berries a few days a week. They deliver antioxidants without the sugar overload. The choice is simple. Keep unknowingly feeding silent inflammation, or start making tiny adjustments that build a stronger future. Now, if a fruit as beloved and innocent as a banana can slowly drain your legs, what about a fruit that's even sweeter, even more tropical, and even sneakier in the way it damages you? Let's move on to pineapple. Now, let's talk about pineapple. Tropical, juicy, refreshing. It feels like pure sunshine on your plate, right? For years, pineapple has been celebrated as a natural anti-inflammatory. People say, eat pineapple. It fights swelling. You've probably heard that bromelain, the enzyme found in pineapple, reduces joint pain. And that's partially true, but only part of the story. Because the hidden side of pineapple is one few people ever talk about. Pineapple contains high levels of natural sugar and strong organic acids. And when you're young, your body can handle the sugar spikes and acidic stress. But after 60, everything changes. Your blood vessels aren't as resilient, your joints aren't as forgiving, and your ability to process sugars and acids quietly declines. One single cup of pineapple chunks delivers around 16 grams of sugar, and that sugar floods into your bloodstream rapidly. This sudden sugar spike damages the tiny blood vessels in your legs and muscles, the very vessels that carry oxygen to your tissues. Each spike is like a silent attack on your strength, fueling inflammation, and over time, making your legs feel heavier, stiffer, and slower. Have you ever taken a short walk, only to feel your calves burning? Have you ever woken up with unexplained tightness in your ankles or knees? Could it be that what you thought was helping your body has been quietly betraying it? But it's not just the sugar. Pineapple is also packed with natural acids. That acidity can irritate already inflamed joints, worsen arthritis symptoms, and create a burning, nagging discomfort that seems to come from nowhere. Especially for seniors already struggling with joint degeneration or circulation problems, pineapple becomes a double-edged sword. And there's an even more serious hidden risk. Most seniors never hear about this warning. No doctor casually mentions it when recommending fruits, but it's real, and the consequences can be devastating. Have you felt your legs swelling strangely after meals? Or your knees locking up after what should have been a relaxing walk? Maybe it's not the aging alone. Maybe it's what's on your plate. Now, does this mean you have to banish pineapple forever? Not necessarily, but you must treat it with respect. Eat it only in tiny portions, a few small chunks, not a whole cup. Always pair it with healthy fats or protein, like a few almonds or a Greek yogurt. Never eat pineapple on an empty stomach, and if you're taking blood thinners, consult your doctor about whether bromelain could interfere. And consider hydrating fruits that are friendlier to aging joints, like papaya or ripe pears, which soothe inflammation rather than fuel it. Ask yourself, is the brief moment of sweetness worth the long-term struggle of heavy, painful legs? Imagine waking up tomorrow feeling lighter. Imagine taking a walk without that dragging sensation in your calves. Imagine knowing that every bite you take is helping your future, not stealing it. Now, if a fruit that's been praised for fighting inflammation can secretly inflame your body after 60, what about a fruit that's even smaller, even easier to overeat, and far more dangerous to your joints than you realize? Get ready, because next, we reveal the hidden trap behind grapes. Now, let's talk about grapes. Tiny, juicy, seemingly harmless. For many, grapes are the perfect snack. Convenient, refreshing, even heart-healthy. You've probably heard that grapes are packed with antioxidants, like resveratrol, which is linked to heart protection. And yes, grapes do have some benefits, but like with pineapple, the story doesn't end there. Here's what almost no one tells you. When you eat fructose, your liver processes it almost immediately. And if your liver can't keep up, which becomes more common after 60, that excess fructose gets converted into fat and uric acid. Uric acid, the same substance that builds up in the joints, triggering pain, stiffness, swelling, and sometimes even gout. Have you ever felt sudden stiffness in your toes, a tightness in your ankles after sitting for a while, or a burning, nagging pain that travels up your calves? You might think it's just arthritis. You might blame aging. But what if part of the real cause is hiding in that handful of grapes you snack on without thinking? And it's not just the uric acid. Grapes are dangerously easy to overeat. Because they're small, you can easily down 30, 40, 50 grapes in one sitting without even realizing it. Each tiny grape adds up, grinding and breaking it down from the inside. You wouldn't notice it immediately. You might even feel fine at first. But one day, you wake up and realize it started when you believed that a handful of healthy grapes could do no harm. So, what can you do? You don't have to fear grapes, but you do have to respect them. Always combine them with a source of fat or protein to slow down sugar absorption. And better yet, consider replacing frequent grape snacks with berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, fruits that truly fight inflammation instead of feeding it. Because the truth is, not all sweetness is safe after 60, and not all fruits are as innocent as they seem. Think about this. If a fruit so small, so seemingly harmless, can contribute to inflammation and weakness in your legs, what about a fruit that's even lighter, almost pure water, but secretly one of the worst offenders for seniors? The next fruit is one that many people believe is the ultimate hydration tool, but it could be quietly sabotaging your strength, one slice at a time. Let's talk about watermelon. Now, let's talk about watermelon. Light, juicy, refreshing. It feels like the perfect summer snack. Cool, hydrating, sweet, without being heavy. But here's a truth most people don't realize. Watermelon, despite being made up of over 90% water, can quietly undermine your circulation, inflame your joints, and slowly drain your leg strength after 60. How? Watermelon has one of the highest glycemic indexes of any fruit, higher than white bread, higher than a chocolate bar. When you bite into watermelon, you're not just taking in water, you're flooding your bloodstream with sugar at lightning speed. One large slice can spike your blood sugar dramatically within minutes. And for seniors, that spike is dangerous. Have you ever eaten a big slice of watermelon at lunch and then felt your legs heavier by evening? Swollen ankles? Tired calves? Aching knees? You might have thought, it's just the heat, or I walked too much. But maybe, just maybe, it's what you put on your plate without even questioning it. And it gets worse. Because watermelon tastes so light and harmless, it's easy to overeat. 2 slices, 3 slices, maybe more. Each slice stacking more sugar into your blood, forcing your circulation to work harder, stressing your joints more deeply. And your legs? They pay the silent price. Imagine your blood vessels as tiny highways delivering oxygen to your muscles. Every sugar spike acts like a traffic jam, slowing oxygen, starving your legs, weakening your foundation. Would you ever knowingly block the path your muscles need to survive? Probably not. But that's what daily watermelon can do, silently, over time. Now, does this mean you have to say goodbye to watermelon forever? Not necessarily. Here's how to be smarter. Never eat watermelon on an empty stomach. Always pair it with a protein like nuts or cottage cheese. Choose lower glycemic fruits like berries, papaya, or kiwi to hydrate without the blood sugar roller coaster. Because after 60, hydration is about more than just water content. It's about balance, protecting your blood vessels, supporting your joints, preserving your strength. Ask yourself, imagine waking up with ankles that don't feel swollen. Imagine knowing that you're not working against your body, but with it. You deserve that. Now, if a fruit that's almost entirely water can secretly sabotage your legs, what about a fruit that looks so innocent, smells so bright, promises to boost your immunity, but quietly assaults your joints with acid every single day? Let's move on to oranges. Now, let's turn our attention to oranges. Bright, fresh, packed with vitamin C. They smell like health itself. Everywhere you look, breakfast tables, juice commercials, multivitamin ads, oranges are celebrated as a miracle fruit. And yes, they do support immunity. Yes, they offer antioxidants. But once again, there's a hidden side few people dare to mention, especially when it comes to seniors. Oranges, and citrus fruits in general, are loaded with citric acid. And after 60, your joints, your gut lining, and your blood vessels are no longer what they were decades ago. That acid isn't always your friend. Every time you enjoy a glass of orange juice or peel a few slices at breakfast, you're flooding your body with citric acid that, swelling, and pain you may already be feeling. Have you ever noticed that after a big breakfast with juice, your knees feel more locked? That your hips ache a little more after sitting down for a while? That the morning stiffness seems harder to shake off? You might have shrugged and said, "It's just the weather," or "I'm getting older." But what if it's something far closer, right on your plate? And let's not forget, oranges are also naturally high in sugar. Even one medium orange delivers a hefty punch of sugar into your bloodstream. Orange juice? Even worse, it concentrates the sugars of multiple oranges into one small glass, with no fiber to slow it down. You may believe you're doing something healthy, but silently, those sugar surges are feeding inflammation, tightening your joints, thickening your blood vessels, and slowly robbing your legs of mobility and strength. And it doesn't happen with dramatic warning signs. It happens silently. You realize that moving freely feels like a memory. Is that the future you want? You deserve better. If you still enjoy oranges, and many people do, here's how to be smart. Always pair your citrus fruits with a fat or protein source, like a handful of nuts or a small piece of cheese. Rotate your fruits. Don't make citrus a daily ritual. Explore anti-inflammatory alternatives like berries, kiwi, or even small portions of papaya. Because after 60, it's not just about eating healthy foods, it's about eating the right foods for your body as it is today. And here's a final question for you. Do you see yourself moving freely, living independently, traveling, playing with grandchildren, climbing stairs with ease? Or do you see a future where every step is a struggle, where stiffness locks you out of the life you want? Your choices today create that future. Now, if a fruit celebrated as the ultimate health booster can quietly sabotage your joints, what about a fruit that seems even more innocent, crisp, green, low in sugar, but hiding a dangerous secret for aging legs? Next, let's talk about green apples. Now, let's dive into one of the sweetest traps of all: mangoes. Soft, juicy, tropical. For many, mangoes are a taste of paradise, pure sunshine in every bite. They're colorful, rich in flavor, and filled with that feeling of indulgent health. But under that sweet, tropical smile hides a real danger for aging legs and joints. Here's why. One medium-sized mango can deliver over 45 grams of sugar. That's more sugar than a full-sized chocolate bar. And because mangoes taste so fresh and light, it's incredibly easy to overeat them without even realizing it. Every sweet bite surges glucose into your bloodstream. Every surge forces insulin to react, and every insulin reaction fuels inflammation. The silent, relentless inflammation that wears down joints, weakens blood vessels, and drains strength from your legs. Have you noticed your ankles swelling more after a healthy tropical fruit salad? Or your knees stiffening after an afternoon snack that seemed harmless? It's easy to miss the connection. You tell yourself it's aging, arthritis, circulation, but maybe it's the hidden sugar load you've been welcoming with open arms. Imagine your joints like delicate gears in a machine. Every sugar spike adds pressure, adds friction, slowly grinding the gears down. You don't feel it after one mango. You might not even feel it after a week. But over months, over seasons, that silent grinding adds up. That's the trap. Now, does this mean you must banish mangoes forever? Not necessarily, but here's what you must do. Not a daily snack. Always pair mango with a source of protein or fat, like a few cashews or a small piece of chicken, to blunt the sugar spike. Choose underripe mangoes when possible. They have slightly lower sugar content. And be deeply mindful of portion size. Half a mango at most, not a full one. Because when you protect your blood vessels, you protect your energy, your independence, your life. Ask yourself, or lose a lot more freedom later. Imagine a future where your legs carry you freely, your steps are lighter, your knees are more flexible, all because you respected the small dangers hiding in plain sight. Now, if a fruit so beloved, so celebrated as the king of tropical fruits, can quietly sabotage your strength, what about a tiny, concentrated fruit that almost everyone forgets, one that delivers sugar and damage in an even more powerful punch? Next, let's uncover the hidden danger of dried figs. Let's talk about dried figs, the tiny fruit with a massive punch. Sweet, chewy, and often forgotten, dried figs feel harmless. But don't be fooled. Just 2 dried figs can deliver over 30 grams of sugar, more than a candy bar. And because they're small, It's easy to overeat them without realizing. For seniors, this is dangerous. That much sugar spikes your blood. Glucose fast, stresses your circulation, and fuels the same. Silent inflammation that weakens your legs. If you suffer from arthritis, swelling, or slow recovery. After walking, figs might be part of the problem. Does this mean you must give them up forever? Not necessarily. But here's how to be smart. Eat only one fig at a time, never on an empty stomach. Pair it with a fat, like walnuts or yogurt. And never use dried fruit as a daily snack. Reserve it as an occasional treat, not a habit. Because after 60, even small bites have big consequences. Today, you didn't just learn about fruits, you uncovered a hidden battle, a quiet war happening inside your body every single day. And more importantly, you discovered that you have the power to change it. You now know which fruits could be silently weakening your legs, and which choices can rebuild your strength, restore your balance, protect your freedom. It's not about fear, it's about awareness. It's about giving yourself the tools to move forward with confidence and energy, no matter your age. Because after 60, every decision matters even more. Every bite matters, every step matters, every act of self-care matters. Now, imagine waking up without swollen ankles, climbing stairs without catching your breath, standing up from your favorite chair with ease and pride. That future isn't just a dream. It's a real possibility, waiting for you to claim it. And it begins with simple, powerful choices today. So let me ask you, which fruit will you rethink after today? Which small change are you ready to make? Starting right now. Share it with me in the comments below. I read every comment, and your story could inspire someone else to take their first step too. And if this video helped you, even a little, please leave a like to support this growing community. It truly helps this message reach others who need it. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss powerful, life-changing tips designed especially for you. Because here, we don't just talk about health, we protect it, we fight for it, and we celebrate every small victory together. Always remember this: your legs carry more than just your body. They carry your freedom, your dreams, your life, and you have every right to fight for them. Starting with what you choose to put on your plate. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and never stop moving forward. I'll see you in the next video.